Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Super Sam reaction of UFC Fight Night. Fluffy Hernandez versus RoboCop Rodrigues. Let's get right into it. It's 2:30 a.m. I just got back and finished the fights, but you will probably be seeing this on Sunday morning because I am way too tired to fucking try to edit this down and look for a thumbnail and all that stuff. But we will do that tomorrow. But for today, let's go through the fights before I forget what the fuck happened. All right, let's do it. And I'm talking low because it's 2:30 a.m. like I mentioned. Let's start with the first fight. Oh, and this was a great card. Let's just get right into it. The first fight of the night, Dyer versus Alice Reed. I picked Dyer very confidently because she's much better. Let me just make sure this aligns because I didn't fucking do any of this beforehand. Yep, it all worked out. Yeah, I picked Dyer because she's of a certain skin complexion and because she is very physical. And she knocked out Alice Reed in the third round. Yep, that's correct. She pieced her apart for 2 rounds. This was not a competitive fight. This was a beatdown. You could have just stopped this fight after round 1 and said, we've seen enough. But the ref did not see enough. And, you know, even in this finish, if I remember correctly, it went on for like an uncomfortable amount of time. You know, if this was like the main event, I could see you letting it go on, but it was not the main event. It was two women fighting who were unranked, so they could have finished it a little bit earlier. But you know, they let Elise Reed be a tough out. I remember Dyer was landing a head kick that was pretty nice. Some calf kicks too. She's very good. You know, like she has 2 fights in the UFC. Both of them she won by knockout. Both of them in the later rounds, and I like that actually. I like when these like people who are muscular they can pace themselves and they can get these later round finishes because it shows like she's technical too. She's not just coming out throwing bombs. So that's the second one in a row for her. She deserves a step up and she's kind of a prospect. So good for her. She ended up getting a combo towards the end. That's like at a certain point I think she landed a hook that really rocked Alice Reed, and that's what led to the finishing combo where she landed like a 20-punch combo at Alice Reed. I don't even think she got dropped. It just kind of looked bad. But yeah, she was kind of just piecing her up the whole fight and waiting to find that specific like that one shot that like hits the right spot, and eventually she did, and that's what happened. Good one for her. Let's move on to Wes Schultz versus Jackson Mcvey. Like I said, this is Jesus on Jesus violence right here. And Jackson Mcvey was the better Jesus after all, the less accurate Jesus, might I say. If you know your history and where Jesus was from, he did look a lot more like this as opposed to this, but I like it. It's like different versions of them fighting. I picked Jackson Mcvey. This is one of the only picks I'm proud of, I guess, because all my other sneaky picks I got wrong. We stayed positive. We stayed above 50%, which is always a good sign. Never got below 50%, so we're good with that. Yeah, this was a 1 round fight. I think it was always going to be a 1 round fight. I think early on, well, Jackson Mcvey, let's just talk about it. He's much taller than Wes Schultz. He's 6'4", and he's got a decent frame for 6'4" and the goofiest fucking face you've ever seen. This was awesome. What were their fight names? Jackson McVey's name was the Moose, and Wes Schultz was Party Time. Oh my god, when this fight was going on, I was having a blast because it's like, oh yeah, let's just put it this way. The Moose was clearly a better striker, but Party Time, I think when the Moose got close in, Party Time tried to shoot a takedown. They just jumped the guillotine, and it was actually a pretty tight guillotine from Party Time. Like the Moose, you could see some panic in the Moose. And then Party Time, I think he got up to mount at a certain point, and he was really cranking on it, trying to turn it into Dars. But the Moose, like I said, the Moose, like his grappling's a little bit underrated, and eventually he got out of that guillotine. And once the Moose got out of that guillotine, you could see in Party Time's face, he was very uncomfortable on the feet. He just doesn't really know how to throw strikes on the feet, and that's kind of a problem in mixed martial arts. You can't only be good at jiu-jitsu, especially when you go against somebody who his only 2 losses in the UFC are by submission, so you'd assume that he's practicing how to defend that stuff. But anyway, Party Time was like quitting slowly, and he had his moments, and he almost got a takedown at some point, but the Moose was really just piecing him up at range, landed a nice, because it was open stats, he was landing a nice cross, nice body kicks, and then eventually he timed when Party Time was shooting for a takedown, the Moose timed Party Time's takedown for a perfect knee right to the center, put him down, and that was it. That was the end. Great win from the Moose. I've seen some people picking Party Time, and I'm just proud that I got this one right. And he's not even that bad. Again, like short notice fight against fucking whatever that Brazilian guy who also got flatlined by Rodrigues, right? Whatever the fuck his name is. Like that's not a bad loss on short notice. And then the Zachary Reese one is not bad, but again, even that I feel like was somehow on short notice. You know what I mean? I think it was. And then now he's on a 2 fight win streak. Both of them by first round finish. So, honestly, put some respect on the Moose. Let's move on. Hey, he's awesome. It's so funny. 2, Gage Young versus Stan Dorsainvil. Look, I said that I didn't do any research for this fight, and therefore, like, the odds were close, and I was like, look, I don't really know what's going to go on. I picked Gage Young. I think he won. I think this was a robbery, but this was a great fight. If not for the main event, this would have been fight of the night. Gage Young did well early because Stan Dorsainvil, mini Kevin Holland, as we like to call him, he really does look like Kevin Holland. And at a certain point, he got cracked with a shot, and he even gave that smirk, like that Kevin Holland smirk of like, yeah, that wasn't even anything, man. Now I'm gonna cope. Yeah, round one, he was coming out with his pressure. I haven't watched any of his fights before, but I'm assuming he always likes to use pressure and heavy combos, and he's got power. But Gage Young was just being a little bit quicker than him and a little bit cleaner, and he was landing the right shots, and he dropped him badly a couple times in round one, and honestly, he kind of fumbled a finish in round one multiple times. There were just a few times that instead of like rushing, if he just like stayed back for a second and waited for the right shot and landed the perfect shot, he would have put down for good Stan Dorsainvil, but he kind of rushed it a little bit. That was round one. Round two is a little bit more competitive. It was a clear Stan Dorsainvil round actually. I don't remember much that happened in it, but he was stinging Young, and like Young didn't even really slow down. It was just Stan Dorsainvil more so found his flow. He started. I think he threw a couple elbows which were nice too. He timed them as Gage Young was coming in, and not a lot of takedowns happened. They both attempted some, but they weren't really getting any. And yeah, Gage Young's body language was not great in round two. Round three was very close. Um, I personally gave it to Gage Young because Gage Young stung. So the first half, Stan Dorsainvil was still like in coast from round two, where he was just like landing these combos, and Gage Young was kind of backpedaling. But like halfway through, he started slowing down, and Gage Young started landing these heavy combos. Yeah, let's look at the strike difference. It says 50, okay, 55 to 41. But let's look at significant, 50 to 41. I th- Personally, I think Gage Young landed the heavier shots in round three. He rocked Stan Dorsainvil a couple times in round three, and Gage Young got rocked once as well. But in my opinion, he landed more damage. But it was a very close fight, and honestly, props to Stan Dorsainvil on short notice against Gage Young. That's no joke, you know. I think he's actually a prospect. Like I'd like to see him like fight a step up at this point because again, even though I think he lost this fight, that was on short notice. Like, imagine what he could do with a full camp. And somehow he had good cardio regardless. So, good for him. And that was a good win. Let's move on to Marcio Barbosa versus Ryan Kuse. Um, the real Ilya Taporia is what we're gonna call him because we had a fake one. Well, later on we'll get to the fake one. But he's the real heavy hitting 145 prospect. Ryan Kuse, I don't really know what his fighting style is. I'm assuming he's like a well-rounded guy, but you can tell in this fight he did not want to get hit by Barbosa, and so he was just shooting nonstop. Every time Barbosa would try to sit down a punch, he would try to shoot him. But Barbosa has really good takedown defense, and he's 19-2 now. Like he's got a good record. He fought some really good opponents even before the UFC. It's not like he was a can crusher. Like he's knocked out fucking everybody he's fought basically. I think 18 out of 19 of his wins are knockouts now. And yeah, so he was getting like, Ryan would shoot these takedowns and he was stuffing them, and then eventually he would start cutting off Ryan and give like he was getting closer and closer. Basically, it was only 2.5 minutes, but it felt like a long ass round because like you could just feel it. You could just feel the aura coming off of this fucker. I want to say he's Mexican, even though he's Brazilian. There's something about his face that's not that Brazilian. You guys know what I'm saying? He looks like Antonio Banderas a little bit, and I wonder where that came from. But anyway, I digress. He was getting better and better as the round progressed. He was getting closer and closer to Ryan Kuse's chin, and eventually, as Ryan Kuse was running away from the power and had just failed the takedown, he landed the fucking perfect like left hook. Ryan Kuse's guard was here, and the left hook kind of landed in front of the guard, like right to the temple, put down Kuse badly, and it was kind of a weird finish because Kuse was like in guard position, and I'm thinking like if I'm Barbosa, fucking step back and let him up or ground and pound, but Barbosa just like stepped back for a second, and then he just froze there, and then when you look, and then the ref stopped the fight, and when you look, you realize Ryan Kuse was not there. It's weird because it wasn't like a flat line. He didn't go limp. You could just see like his eyes were not focused on his opponent. They were kind of looking off at a distance, you know? And so the ref had a good call by stepping in, and that was the knockout for Marcio Barbosa. Bro, he's a fucking menace, and he's scary, and I think he's gonna be, if not the champion, at least top five in his near future. He's really fucking good. It's nice to have him as like a legit prospect, you know? Yeah, like again, I think the way to beat him was what Ryan Kuse tried to do, which is just spam takedowns, and Barbosa was able to stuff all of them with ease, and then still got the knockout. So good for him. A very impressive performance. Let's move on to Chris Padilla versus Nasrat Haqparast. I guess I'll take credit in this one because Padilla was a slight underdog. Oh, towards the end he ended up as a favorite. But when I picked him, he was an underdog, and we'll be clear about that one. Um, Yeah, well, this fight was a scrap. It was a back and forth. I was worried they're going to rob Padilla because round one, Padilla won pretty quickly, but it was a little bit boring. He was basically just using leg kicks and body kicks, and, he would fake a leg kick and then throw a jab, and then he'd fake the jab and throw a body kick, and then he would stare for a moment and fucking do all this shit because he does Muay Thai. So, he has to fucking walk forward with his checked leg and then not throw anything for 30 seconds. Round one kind of sucked. I'm a Chris Padilla fan. Round one was eh. Round two is a close round. Padilla did open up a little bit, but in the process, he did start getting clipped by Nasrat, Haqparast, Mini Calvin Gastelum. Haqparast is pretty good, especially when he's going forward. And the thing is, like, Padilla had to go forward to stop that momentum, but he was getting clipped even while he was going forward. You could give round two to Haqparast. Biasly, I think I still gave it to Padilla. But at this point, yeah, I mean, he still outlanded him. That's the thing is, like, he was, for the most part, even in round two, he was landing leg kicks, body kicks, things like that. But then when Haqparast would land, he would land a 5-punch combo that got Padilla's attention. You're like, oh, you're scared for a second. So that's the only reason I could see you giving it to Haqparast. I still gave it to Padilla. And then round three was back at, like, to like a pitter pat, and then Padilla ended up landing. I think it was like a hook, or he landed something on Haqparast's chin. It was hard to see. Haqparast went down badly. Padilla got on top of him. Um, Haqparast, like, he fumbled that finish too. These fucking fumblers. He started like loading up fucking 12 to 6 elbows, but you can't give them like a 10 seconds heads up before you're trying to. You just gotta fucking pepper, heavy punch, heavy punch. He was going ha pow, and none of them landed because fucking Haqparast, even though he almost got flatlined, could still see it coming from a mile away. And eventually Haqparast worked his way back up, but Padilla kind of got into this clinch position, got an over under, and started fucking trying to get this standing arm triangle. Eventually fucking threw Haqparast to the ground with the grip and continued with that arm triangle. The round finishes, he lets go, and Haqparast is fucking out cold. So they ruled it a submission with the last second, and I agree. And I'm glad he got a finish. He's not going to get a bonus because the UFC hates him, so he never gets bonuses. But, I would just give him one because it's fucking Chris Padilla, man. Just fucking give him a bonus. Who cares? I don't care that you already gave other people bonuses who deserved it more. Fuck them. I don't care that he was only a slight underdog and we've had some other underdog wins. Fucking give him a bonus anyway. Look at him. This guy, he can use it. I think he has like 5 kids waiting for him at home and his mom or something. I know he cried about his mom a couple fights ago. But anyway, good performance from him. He is still undefeated in the UFC. You have to remind yourself that even though he's going to these close fights with everybody, nobody has beat him yet. Including somebody who we'll talk about soon, who I think Padilla clearly beat. Let's move on to Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Shamil the Blob Gaziev. Oh, I laughed so much in this fight. I don't think I actually have laughed more in a fight than this specific fight. I'm trying to think. There have been funny moments. I've laughed at Derek Lewis fucking getting thrown around by Josh Hawkins and ending up getting knocked out. I've laughed during other fights too that I can't name right now. But this one has a special place in my heart. I picked Kennedy Nzechukwu. I think he was the underdog. Yeah, slight underdog. Although I don't actually think Kennedy Nzechukwu should have been the underdog. I know he fucking okay. So let's talk about the fight. Kennedy was feeling himself. He really thought, man. He thought he thought this was his moment. He felt the disrespect. He moved up to heavyweight. He has like 2.5 knockouts. I'm tired. Okay, 2:45 a.m. guys. He yeah, so he has like 2 knockouts at heavyweight. He went to a draw with fucking the jiu-jitsu guy, Kuchala, whatever his name is. The guy who Marcus Buchecha, who ended up fucking being dog shit. He has a draw with him, which he kind of just won, and then I poked him, so he lost a point, and that's why it was a draw. But I picked him because I thought he'd be slicker. I thought he wouldn't be a retard. That was my mistake. He ended up being a retard. The one thing I thought he wouldn't be. Yeah, so he comes out of the fight. He stinks Shamil with a couple quick jabs and a cross, and he decided that's it. He's John Jones now. He's fucking prime Anderson Silva, hands down at heavyweight, looking at Shamil Gaziev. And Shamil was like, he got that crafty smirk. This one right here, you guys see the smirk? That means you're about to get fucking flatlined by Shamil the Blob Gaziev. That's what that is. And Shamil was like, oh, I bet, bro. And Kennedy Nzechukwu, I think Shamil threw a jab, and Kennedy slipped it, and his hands are down by his waist, just like this fucking picture. This is his fighting stance. And then Shamil just steps through with a cross and sends Kennedy Nzechukwu flying across the cage, fucking face down. Like, he fell face, like on his back, and then rolled face down out of embarrassment, probably. But he went out cold, and it was the funniest fucking shit ever. He was taunting. He's like, yeah, I got this head movement. Out cold. Fucking hilarious. And I'm happy. I got this pick wrong, but I don't care. I like Shamil the Blob Gaziev. And I'm happy he got a win. I love how he was talking like a unk after. He's like, yeah, Kennedy and Nzechukwu was making mistakes that I used to make when last fight. Like, well, this isn't like you're on a run, but the I guess the title walk starts now for Shamil the Blob Gaziev. I can see him waddling towards that belt slowly but surely. No one will stand in his way. We are so back. Let's move on to Jamall Emmers versus Larryan Douglas. The Ilia Topuria figure has never been so down. Like the stock, if you had to invest in the Ilia Topuria build, now is the worst fucking time. As somebody who has a similar build to that, this is sad times. They just can't catch a fucking break. None of these guys who look like him. Last year was prime Ilia Topuria build. All of them were winning. Ilia was winning. Larryan Douglas was winning. And then that guy who just lost to McMillan was winning. Alberto Montes. And I think there might be one more, and he probably is going to lose very soon or has lost already. Oh, the only one that's back is Ilia Topturo. Um, Gaston Bolaños. He's the only one winning, the shit one. The one who has no knockout power and is kind of terrible, but he was the original Ilia Topturo. If you know ball, you know he was the first one because he wears the red shorts too, and he actually looks the most like him out of everyone. Um, he is for sure like I guess he's the OG, the real Ilia Topuria, we can call him. But this guy is the fake Ilia Topuria. He is a fraud. He got fraud checked. He fought Jamall Emmers. We can talk about him as well. Bobby Green 2.0, I guess. I did not expect it to be that black when he started talking. I'm just gonna say that. But yeah, Larryan Douglas was letting a lot of, he fumbled this, let's just be honest. He was letting a lot of calf kicks. Joel Emmers' calf was fucked. But what happened was, as he was pressuring and basically on the way to get a finish, he got punched in the eye. I don't know if it was confirmed if he broke his orbital or not, but like, because he was landing that jab. Jamall Emmers was in it. He was landing his own calf kicks. He was landing punches as counters, and he was very good at circling around the fence. But Larry Douglas was starting like he was on his way to a knockout victory, and then Jamall Emmers landed the perfect counter right to his fucking eye, and Douglas just kind of quit. He just sunk to the canvas and grabbed his face, which is like that's not really a knockout. That's just like something's wrong. I guess he got punched in the eye, and like I don't know. I guess if a fist goes right into your eye, it's kind of painful, but you're not out. You know, maybe it was the fucking whatever this bone is called. I just forgot. Not the collarbone, whatever the fuck that one's called. I just said it before, so go back and listen to what I called it. Maybe it broke his orbital bone. Maybe his orbital bone broke, but his face didn't look any different. It just like afterwards, he was just kind of holding it. But Jamall Emmers gets a TKO. He was a big underdog, minus 300. A plus 300 underdog, and I think I was talking crazy smack before this fight. I think I said something like Larryan Douglas should be a bigger favorite. He's never gonna fucking lose this fight. He's gone, and that's it. And Ilia Topuria has never been fucking what is it? What's the opposite of back? Gone. The Elliott Topuria build has never been more gone than right now. There's no aura attached to this build anymore. This sitting down on your punches. The only one who's holding it down is Kevin Vallejos. He's the only fucking one holding it down right now. All right, yeah, that's it. That was that fight. He got fucking fraud checked. He got knocked out in 3.5 minutes, and pretty bad luck, guys. And nobody predicted that, so you know. Anyway, let's move on to Anthony Wint versus Terrance Chatman. Anthony Wint gets a first round submission, but I will say he did struggle early, and he was much smaller than Terrance Chatman, and Terrance Chatman's not even a big heavyweight. So I don't know how far Anthony Wint is going to go. He's 5'11" at heavyweight, which is pretty fucking tough, you know? But on the feet, I think he got stung early, actually, because, again, he's so fucking short. But he's jacked, but he's short. And then he was like, yeah, he got hit with a couple heavy punches. He landed his own too. He landed a couple kicks, and then he started feeling himself and threw the Conor McGregor jump kick and almost had the same shit fucking happen to him. Maybe we should stay away from that kick. I don't know. If it fucking ended Conor McGregor's comeback in fucking a minute or whatever, maybe the last 30 seconds, maybe we should be staying away from that kick in the future. I don't know. Just floating ideas out there. I'm not a fighter, but, just feels logical. But anyway, then got stung by Terrance Chatman, I think with like a cross or something. And he was like, fuck this, I'm going to go wrestle. But when he was trying to wrestle, he had a body lock on Chatman, and he could not pull him to the ground because Chatman's a fucking fat heavyweight. But then eventually he transitioned to a single leg and dumped him down the other way, which was pretty nice. Got on top. Chatman got a Kimura on him and almost finished it, and it was weirdly tight actually. But then Wint got out of it and eventually got an arm triangle and he squeezed and he put Chatman out cold. So look again, he took this fight on like he fought 10 days ago. So it's pretty impressive regardless. They came in and got a win against somebody who wasn't in the UFC. So, it wasn't really a UFC level fight. Neither of these guys have been to UFC before. It was just under their banner, I guess. But I think he'll beat a couple more guys, but I don't think that highly of him anymore. Just seeing his size next to other heavyweights. That's really what it is. Anyway, yeah, he's a minus 1100 favorite. Let's move on to Carli Judice versus Jeisla Chaves. I told you she should have been a fucking 10,000 favorite. She is the best female striker in the in UFC right now. I don't care. She would put belt to ass on Dakota Decheva. I don't even know if they're the same weight class. They're not. Whatever. But just watching Dakota Decheva versus fucking bums in the PFL and making it somewhat competitive and go decision with them. Carli Judice, I think she has four. Is it four? I think she has four fights in the UFC. Nah, because she has a loss before that. Regardless, she has like three out of her last four wins. She has three finishes by knockout. That's really fucking impressive. And even the decision one was a beatdown. She came out looking fucking amazing because I told you she's really fucking good. She's gonna be the champion. Yeah, I wasn't exaggerating. She is gonna be the champion unless she gets fucking held down. But I don't think so. She moves very very nicely. Like she moves around enough that I don't really see her getting taken down. Especially not at 115. She has a big frame for 115. Um, but yeah, she looked a lot quicker than Jeisla Chaves. Jeisla Chaves was trying to load up and land these counter punches, but Judice was just too quickly, and eventually she timed Jeisla Chaves with it wasn't even timed, just threw a body kick that landed hard. Jeisla Chaves went down, and that was that. But even before that, she landed 16 strikes in the course of a minute. Like, she's just that good, guys. She's just that good. Yeah, fucking put a beating on her. Step up in competition. Let's do it, man. Jeisla Chaves is 8-0, and she just put her out of round one. Give her someone ranked now. We need to see it. Let's move on to Marco Mederos versus Mason Jones. This was really fucking sad. Um, Listen, I love Mason Jones, and I realize that more now after seeing what happened to him. That's when you realize who you care about. When you see them lose, and you're like, oh, fuck. I kind of like that guy. It felt like he's like a Yuri Prohaska. He's like a fucking 155 Yuri Prohaska. Let's talk about the fight. I feel like I'm at a fucking funeral now. I think this really did have the most stock for me out of all the fights on this card. I'm noticing now. Um, yeah, he fucking came out and did what he did. Mederos was landing a lot of calf kicks early, which was a nice tell from him. And there was like the first 2 minutes, Mason Jones is trying to do this tit for tat, which is where he always does terrible. Never fucking do that. And he's getting his leg chewed up. But eventually he was like, fuck this shit. He just started walking forward, throwing combos. At the end of round one, he was doing pretty well. He actually took down Mederos and got into mount, but he fucking jumped for a triangle and kind of fumbled the finish. And in another world, he is putting a beat down on Mederos and getting a round one TKO or getting a round two TKO by gassing out Mederos. But because he went for that triangle and fumbled it, ended up on the bottom for the last 30 seconds of round one, there was like a mental reset for Mederos round two. And you could tell Mederos kind of realized, I'm not gonna fucking beat this cunt in the pocket. That's just not gonna happen. But what I could do is step back and hit him with counters. And that's what he was doing in round two. He was starting to land a lot of clean shots, and Mason Jones has got a fucking chin on him. Bro, he was taking a lot of damage, and Mederos was just timing him. As Mason Jones was coming in and trying to make it dirty, Mederos would just step back, land a cross, land an elbow, land a hook, and then eventually he stung Mason Jones badly, and and then just landed a whole bunch of perfect, like, he just was landed on the chin. Like, he probably landed 15 unanswered strikes to the chin, and Mason Jones still didn't go down, but he kind of went limp, and you had to stop it because he was going to go out, and you want to preserve his chin because think of how many more wars he can give us. So yeah, it was fucking brutal. Mederos TKO round two, very good win. Mederos does deserve a ranked opponent, even though, like I mentioned, I believe he is coming off of a loss. Even though they're saying it was a draw, I think it was a loss to Chris Padilla. So how good is Chris Padilla? You know what's crazy? Because of this fight, they're gonna give Mederos the top 15 ranked opponent, and Padilla is gonna have to fucking fight. Who are they gonna make him fight? They're gonna make him fight some fucking run of the mill lightweight, and you're like, why is this fight happening? He's kind of fighting down in level of competition right now. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, fuck it. I love Mason Jones. You know what? They should just have Mason Jones on the monthly card. Just have him there. Put him in the not in the apex, but like in front of crowds. He needs to be in front of crowds. But like, I just want this to be a monthly thing. I don't care that he lost. You just want to keep on seeing it. He's just fucking fun. There's no boring Mason Jones fights. Ever since he got back to the UFC, and maybe even before that, he's just been doing damage. He puts his chin on the line. He doesn't care. He's here to scrap, and we fucking love it. So just give him a bump up in bonus. I don't care. Just pay him more. I don't care that he lost. He's the reason this was entertaining. Mederos has had some like back and forth fights, but Mason Jones forced it to be entertaining, and I think he deserves something for that. He's entertaining. It doesn't matter that he's not winning this time, even though he was on a 7-fight win streak. And I think he's gonna do better. I think there's a couple things he has to clean up, but you're never gonna take that heart away from him. You know, that's something you either have or you don't have, and he fucking has it. He's got that grit, he's got that heart, and he's got a fucking fire hydrant for a head, so he can't really get knocked out, even though he kind of got TKO'd in this fight. Pay him more. I don't care. Just do it. And Yuri, him and Yuri, they should have their own little fucking fight night. Yuri and Jones fight night. And who else can you put in there? Mark Vologden, that little short guy, that 5'3" guy at 135. Put him in there too. These guys, they just deserve more. Just give them everything, man. They are the reason why I love this sport. So that's that. And yeah, I guess Marco Mederos won. Fuck you, bro. Fuck you, man. Yeah, let's move on to Raider to Raider versus Roman Dolidze. This might be the only fight that I got right on the main card. Oh no, I got this one, and I got this one. Never mind. But it came at the right time because I was starting to fucking panic, boys. They come out, and Roman Dolidze decided to pull guard right away. And the thing is, it almost worked. I think Raider to Raider is like a nightmare matchup for him. It's the one guy who this bullshit won't work on. Roman Dolidze was trying to go for heel hooks and fucking calf slicers and everything. But RDR is a very high level jiu-jitsu guy. Minus the Brendan Allen where he gassed out after one round for no fucking reason. You're not out grappling him. Brahal could not take him down. In fact, Brahal had to grab the cage a couple times to avoid getting taken down. And yeah, and De Ridder like survived, and look at these fucking strikes, 106-4, because De Ridder was just peppering him with punches as he was going for these like leg lock stuff, and then eventually he cleared his leg, and you can kind of see Roman Dolidze was like, I guess this is it. That's the look he had in his face. He defended the fucking guard pull, so now what? And he was just pummeling his fucking head in. Eventually he had him in a turtle position for a while. This is RDR, had Roman Dolidze in a turtle position, landed a lot of ground and pound punches, and kind of had him out for a bit, even though Dolidze does have a fucking fire hydrant for a chin as well. And then eventually he got onto his back, flattened him out, and threw a lot of punches until the ref just had to step in and finish it. It wasn't like a crazy knockout, but that's the closest you're going to get to knocking out Roman Dolidze. And look, Raider looks good. I'd love to see him against the actual light heavyweight, and one that doesn't suck, preferably, before we make all these decisions. But I guess he won. I guess he's coming off of a win. And who does that to Roman Dolidze? Not Fluffy. Fluffy took him fucking 4 rounds. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, good win for Raider to Raider. Let's have him fight somebody up the rankings. All right. That was that. Let's move on to Spivac versus Petrino. I thought I was being crafty with picking Spivac, and you could almost see how I got there. I thought Petrino would gas out and wouldn't be able to get the takedowns. Both of those stuff were incorrect. Well, the gassing out, we'll get to it. So round one was like kind of a tit and tat back and forth. Is that what it's called? Tit tat? I feel like the pitter pat. I think it's a pitter pat back and forth is what it is. Petrino was landing the better shots. He landed a stiff jab that busted up Spivac's nose, and that's kind of what gave him round one because there's a lot of blood coming out. Bless me. But Spivac landed some nice shots too. It just didn't cause as much damage, and Petrino landed some calf kicks too and some body kicks or whatever. He looked decent. He looked like he was a capable heavyweight. And then round two, he came out with a double leg. And once he took down Spivac, which I didn't really expect to happen, but once it did happen, I kind of knew it was over. Not going to lie, I skipped through that round. I just hit skip five, and nothing was fucking happening. I'm assuming he landed some strikes. He landed 70 strikes. Jesus. 19 significant. That's exactly how I thought the round would go. There's some rounds you don't have to watch. I'll be honest, as a hardcore fan, you don't have to watch round two of this fight. You know what happened. I've seen it many times before. I have watched Dagestani's fights before, so I know how that went. But all I saw is at the end of that round, Spivac, because Petrino was kind of like on his back, and Spivac kind of snuck out from behind. Like the ass way out, and then he landed a couple shots and kind of got on top like a crafty vet. But then round three, Petrino looked a little bit tired. Spivac needed to get a fucking knockout. He stung Petrino early, which caused Petrino to shoot a takedown, and he got it. And eventually Spivac worked his way back up. At this point, he was fucking gassed, and Petrino was gassed before that. But now they're both tired, and you can even kind of see, because Spivac came out round three with spite, like I have to fucking put this young buck away. And then once the grappling exchange happened, he went into survival mode instead, and he just kind of had that look of, let me not get knocked out in this fight. And once you do that, you lost the fight. That's kind of just what it is. Vitor Petrino just landed just enough, plus he had the grappling control. And so he won the fight. He won the fight. It's fucking 3 a.m. He won the fight 30-27. I was almost right, guys. I was almost right. But yeah, I guess here's what I'll say about Petrino. He kind of just won by being an athletic heavyweight. That's what it was. Like, did he do anything impressive? No. Did he get a knockout? No, he did not. Um, I guess his grappling's pretty decent for a heavyweight because taking down Spivac's no joke. Even Jailton Almeida kind of struggled with that. I would say he's like the next Jailton Almeida. In fact, they're Brazilian. He's a little bit more entertaining. He will strike on the feet for seconds at a time. But yeah, he's like slow. He's really fucking slow, but he's got decent movement. He's athletic, and he like knows how to pace himself for 3 rounds. I guess. I don't see him making it much further than this, but I guess he's like fucking top 10 now or whatever. So that's that. Who's excited? Good call. That's a good call. You don't sound too excited, whoever you are. Let's move on to the main event of the evening: Anthony Hernandez versus Gregory Rodrigues. You may not believe me, but when I saw the face-off, I immediately changed my pick to Gregory Rodrigues. Um, in the original face-off, the one that I made my bold prediction off of for Anthony Hernandez decision or late rounds TKO win, they were the same height. Rodrigues might have been an inch taller. But yet, when they faced off at the official weigh-ins, Gregory Rodrigues was a fucking half a foot taller easily. So I don't know what the fuck's going on. Anthony Hernandez is not 6 feet tall, or Gregory Rodrigues is not 6'3". And besides for that, it's not just that Hernandez is shorter, he's skinnier. He was smaller in every way. It looked like somebody was fighting up a weight class. And you know what? He kind of did okay for how if I told you the fight went to decision, you'd think Hernandez won. But no, it was Rodrigues, and he landed a lot of clean punches in round one. I think he stung Hernandez a couple times, but Hernandez, you could tell the game plan was just to hold Rodrigues against the cage. And I'm kind of impressed with how much RoboCop stuck to his game plan. You could tell the game plan was target the body early, and he did. He basically only was throwing to the body intentionally. So I'm kind of impressed that a fucking big Brazilian blockhead could stick to a game plan. He also threw in some calf kicks in round one, and then round one went to him. Round two is when the calf kicks really started playing an effect. I thought it was kind of wraps, but I didn't know it went to a decision because I was rewatching this. I wasn't watching this live, so I could see how much time was left. So I knew it went to decision, which made me very hopeful for Hernandez. Bow, bow, bow. But yeah, he dropped Hernandez like 3 different times with. Let's see how many knockdowns they gave him in round two. 3. Yes, he dropped him 3 different times with calf kicks, and there were a lot of moments where if he just stepped back and threw one more calf kick, the fight would have been over. But instead, he decided to crouch over him and try to land some ground and pound. And then eventually, Hernandez got back up, and RoboCop kind of unloaded all he had. And so Hernandez ended up kind of rocking him. Like at the end of round two, he kind of stung him up and he got into his face. And he was at a range where he can't throw calf kicks. And he was kind of in southpaw. And he won. He did not win that round. No, he did not. But it was not a 10-8 because of that, at least. And that got him some momentum. In round three, he came running out, got a takedown early on Rodrigues, held him down for a bit, ended up pulling him against the cage for a little bit longer. But Rodrigues, and this is the most impressive was his cardio, actually, that he lasted 5 rounds. But his takedown defense, bro, Hernandez just couldn't take him down at all. He got one takedown the whole fucking fight. Yeah, he got 3. No, he got 1. Duh. Oh yeah, he got like I think another one in the 4th round towards the end. How many did he attempt? They're not gonna take it. They're not gonna tell us. Oh, 10%. So out of 29, he attempted 29 takedowns, boys. But yeah, I think one of them came in round one, in round three, or like in round four, or them. So when did? So where's this third takedown? Round two. I guess at the end of round two, he got a takedown. Round three, he got his takedown. He got some control time, held him against the cage for a little bit, and he was doing very well with like disengaging, landing a combo, engaging again. But he was never able to get a rhythm going because he couldn't do it from orthodox because his calf was fucked. He was only able to throw from southpaw, and you could tell it just wasn't the same for him. So in round four, Rodrigues realized he had to go forward. He couldn't really let Fluffy dictate where the fight was going, and Rodrigues was just stepping forward, landing combos. I think he rocked him in round four as well. Ended up hurting him with the calf as well, and he won that round just based off damage. Let's just look at the striking numbers real quick. At 63-26, 62-26. He was just like, honestly, he's the better striker, and he kind of cleaned up his game. He doesn't just rely on big punches anymore. He was pretty technical, and he knew when to throw knees to the body, punches to the body, and he would bring them up top too. And Hernandez has a fucking a great chin because he did not get knocked out by Rodrigues. 5 rounds that basically took place on the feet, and he didn't get knocked out by Rodrigues. Round 5 was a close one. Rodrigues, how did this end? Okay, yeah. So Rodrigues, let's see the strikes on this one. Yeah, this one was like more back and forth because round four, Rodrigues kind of started putting a beating on Hernandez again. But again, he got tired. Like that was like his like second was it second lung or whatever. He found his second breath, whatever the fucking term is. His second wind. We got there eventually. He found his second win in round four, but at the end of round four, again, he started getting tired, and Hernandez started, like, I think that's when he got that next takedown, was at the end of round four. And then round five, Hernandez came out, tried to get a takedown early, couldn't, ended up taking place on the feet. I think this is the round that two of the judges gave to Hernandez. Honestly, you could give this one to Robocop as well, but it doesn't really matter. It didn't come down to this round. But yeah, Robocop did sting him up on the feet. Eventually, Hernandez, he got some strikes too. It was pretty even as a whole. Yeah, 27 to 24 significant strikes in favor of Robocop. He landed his own stuff. Hernandez tried to take him down. Robocop actually got to the back. And this is what I will say. Robocop, if he wanted to wrestle, I bet he could have ragdolled Hernandez just because of how big he was. He just chose not to because he didn't want to expand energy. But he ended up taking down Hernandez, got onto his back, and then with like 30 seconds left, Hernandez reversed him, got on top, and landed a couple punches, but nothing much. That's like a swing round, but the other ones are not. And so, good win from Rodrigues. He called out Dricus. I think that's a bit of a step up, and I don't think he wins that. In fact, this fight, I was just watching because Hernandez lost, and I picked him to win, but whatever. We went 7-6 on predictions. Not great, but we stayed positive. And that's the thing. We will never go negative on this channel. Always stay above 50%. There were some, I believed in Hernandez. If I saw the face off, I would have picked Rodrigues. But, I believed in him. I believed in Spivac, and I thought that was a crafty pick, but whatever. Vitor Petrino did just enough. I picked Ritter, obviously. This one, I guess, could have been an either way kind of thing, but, Mason Jones. I guess Mederos was better than I thought he was. Carli Judice I got right. The Wint one I got right. Fucking Jamall Emmers I got right. Shamil Gaziev, I got that one wrong, and I'm happy to. Nobody fucking called it Shamil. I told you he has a sneaky cross, though, but I did not expect Nzechukwu to be a retard. I got the Padilla one right, which I'm proud of. I got the Barbosa one right, blah. This one was kind of a robbery, but whatever. Even with that, I still went positive, even though there was a robbery. So really, it was fucking 8-5, which sounds a lot better. But we'll do 7-6. This one I got right, and this one I got right. Feels like I got a lot more right than I did wrong, but that is just factually incorrect. But we will stay positive and keep on coping. This was a great card. You could tell that Michael Bisping did not watch the past couple cards because he kept on saying, this is a record-breaking night. No, it was not, sir. If you watch the Serbia card, that was the record-breaking night. This one was not. And I think right after a decision, Bisping said, no fight has gone to a decision yet on this card. And the fight before that literally did. So Bisping, you kind of are shit. Let's just get Felder on and Dominic Cruz and fucking Lorosenko. I'm honest. Honestly. John Anik can stay too. Fucking Michael Chiesa's pretty underrated. If you guys have been watching Contender Series, Michael Chiesa's commentating, he's pretty fucking good. I wouldn't even mind having him on. Even Anthony Smith from prison or wherever he's at, we can have him on commentary too. Just get fucking Michael Bisping away and DC and Joe Rogan. Those three guys, get them the fuck away from the mic, please, please, please. But yeah, great card. And I think I was saying something about Rodrigues. Yeah, he doesn't really beat anybody above this. That's the truth. He can chin some people, but like I was just thinking, is he gonna be able to beat Strickland? My Pookie Bear Strickland, and the answer is no, because Strickland is good. First of all, he'll be able to get the takedowns, but also Strickland will be able to stay at a range where he doesn't get clipped, and he has a good chin. He has an underrated chin, and I think he would jab Rodrigues apart and just fuck him up and kind of school him. But you never know, like, bro, the power is not to be joked around with, even though he's kind of chinny. And even Hernandez did rock him a couple times, and I don't think he's a heavy hitter at all. But anyway, that's the card. Hope you enjoyed. That took much longer than I thought it would, honestly. But here we are. So have a good night. Have a good morning, actually, because we're going to upload this tomorrow morning. And yeah, I didn't miss it. You guys just know I did hustle, even though it's going to get like 5 views or whatever, because I'm going to upload it at the worst possible fucking time. I'm just getting it out of the way now. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Please like the video if you, in fact, did enjoy it. Share this video with people who you think might enjoy it. And subscribe, motherfucker, if you haven't already. Subscribe, motherfucker. See ya.